Good afternoon. My name is Doyle Phillips. I'm the town supervisor from Wilson here. And I want to thank you all for being here today. It's wonderful to have not one but two governors here with us. I also would like to acknowledge some of our other people here with us today. New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo, Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont. We have New York State Assemblyman Mike Norris here with us today. Town of Newfane Supervisor Tim Hornberg over here. Niagara County Legislator John Syracuse. Niagara County Legislator Dave Godfrey. And the Village of Wilson's Mayor Arthur Lawson. Lake Ontario is a natural monument and an international destination. People travel from all over to fish, boat, camp, and enjoy our beautiful beaches. But not everybody knows how much Lake Ontario has to offer. Governor Cuomo is working tirelessly to change that. This summer, Governor has launched a campaign to promote tourism and make sure even more New Yorkers and out-of-state visitors are aware of all there is to and see here. And today is no exception. He is truly our greatest partner in both promoting tourism and creating strong economics with Western New York. So with that, I am pleased to introduce New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back in Wilson today. It is a beautiful day. I want to thank the Supervisor Doyle, for his kindness and for his good leadership. It's a pleasure to be with Tim again. We have my colleague from Albany, Mike Norris from the Assembly. So it's a pleasure to be with all of you. It is an exquisite day on Lake Ontario. I want to thank Governor Ned Lamont for taking the time to be with us today. First, we just had a lot of fun. Fun is important. And when you go out on Lake Ontario on a day like today, which is just glorious, there are very few places like it in the world, I believe. It really is, as the supervisor said, an international tourist destination, and it should be. So we had a beautiful boat ride and a successful boat ride. We caught and released 2 fish, and then we caught 2 steelhead trout. The governor's going to take one back. I'm going to take one back, so we're going to be eating well tonight. Not that we're competitive, but the fish happen to be twins. First time. They are identical twins, identical weight, and they are beautiful. So we had a lot of fun, and we also had a chance to talk some business. You know, Connecticut and New York are neighbor states. There are very few issues that we deal with today that are limited by our borders and our boundaries, especially with our surrounding states. And Connecticut is our neighbor to the east. So there are so many issues that we're dealing with that we could do better if we worked cooperatively. And that was the serious part of today's trip. Our transportation systems interconnect. And how can we both work on a transportation system to make it better? Security. We are all in the same boat when it comes to security. So how can we do a better job working together on security issues, anti-terrorism issues, etc.? Emergency management, which at one time was a relatively seldom occurrence, now happens almost on a monthly basis. Just this past weekend, we had hailstorms, we had New Yorkers with power outages, and New York and Connecticut being able to work together on these issues, that if Connecticut has an issue, we can deploy our resources to Connecticut and vice versa. So we're going to set up sessions where our state police do drills together, and they're familiar with each other's practices, protocols, territory, and our emergency management response teams. So if Connecticut has a problem, we can be there to help them. If we have an issue, they can be here to help us. That makes good sense. We do it now but we can do it better. Right now, if there's a storm and there are down power lines, utility issues in Connecticut, we will send over our utility crews and vice versa. But having done it a few times, I can tell you that we can do it better, and we're going to work to do that better. We talked about policy issues like the marijuana issue, which is obviously also relevant to contiguous states. What Connecticut does on marijuana is relevant to New York. What New York does is relevant to Connecticut. So we talked about that and a lot of issues. So we had fun. It was successful. We're going to eat well tonight. We enjoyed the beautiful Lake Ontario, and we got some work done. So I am considering this a work day, by the way, just so we're clear. This goes in my journal as a work day, Governor, so I hope you back me up on that. This is not, okay, let's do this. Half a vacation day and half a work day. But it was great. And Governor Lamont is a star. He's done great work in Connecticut in just his first few months. I'm very excited about this partnership, both on an institutional level and on a personal level. He has great experience. He's brought a fresh mind and fresh perspective to the job. He's a get-to-yes person, and that is so important because so much of government now is just spinning wheels and process. And we were talking about how it seems nowadays that government just isn't competent or capable enough to get great things done anymore. And that's not true. We have big problems, and big problems require big solutions, and big solutions require partnerships. So I'm looking forward to pursuing that with the governor, and this is going to be the first meeting of many. I want to also congratulate Alan Sauerland and Tim, who took us out on the Instigator, which was the name of the boat, which I thought was appropriate. I think I am an instigator. I think governors, by definition, if they're doing their job, are instigators. But they did a great job. The boat ride was great, and the catching was even better. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the governor. I have one quick New York token to give the governor, and we thank him for his visit and for visiting us here in beautiful Lake Ontario. This is your official Connecticut,
New York. I like that.
tackle box, which is going to bring you good luck. And this, I'm jealous of, by the way. This is a custom-made rod for you with your name, Governor Ned Lamont. It is guaranteed to catch fish, this rod. So if you do not catch with this rod, you can return it to me because it is guaranteed to catch.
Hey, thanks, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, fishing for boats. I love it. Hey, we had a ball out there, and Alan and the Instigator, you guys are great hosts. Doyle, I love your backyard. I love your office. Look forward to coming back. And Governor, we'll make this a home and home, make this a regular basis. And I'll do these half work, half vacation days with you, anytime you want. And I just want to say, to amplify what Governor Cuomo said, I've only been in this job for 8 years. He's 8 months. He's been doing it 8 years and 8 months. And I had a lot to learn as we were floating around out there waiting for the trout. And the first thing I've learned, though, is that these state borders are pretty artificial. And we have a lot of overlap there, between Long Island Sound and Metro North and what we talked about in terms of energy, what we talked about in terms of security. We are much better off when we work together. And I've tried to establish a pretty good relationship with my neighbors on the other side in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And you're very fortunate to have Governor Cuomo, and I look forward to working with you very closely on what we've got to do together. I mean, if we can, tourism is for a region. And we can make this part of a broader region where people ought to visit and they ought to know this is the most beautiful part of the country. And, my state doesn't survive unless we can speed up our transportation. And for me to speed it up all the way to the New York border doesn't help. We got to go right into, right into the city. We talked a lot about energy and ways that we can purchase together. And if we purchase some of this together, we get extraordinary savings. We do good by the environment. We also do good by the taxpayers. And these are the type of initiatives where the governor has been taking the lead for many, many years. And I just want him to know he's got a partner in Connecticut, and we're proud to be standing with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any on-topic questions for the governor or myself? If you have any off-topic, we'll just take a pause. We'll let the governor get back to work, and then we'll go from there.
Governor, you mentioned that tourism is a big industry here on Lake Ontario shore. Has the weather and the lake levels affected the tourism in this area because of the high waters that were earlier this year?
Yeah, I think initially it did. People heard about high water and flood levels, et cetera, and it sounds like it's bad news or it's problematic. We worked very hard to send the exact opposite message. We actually have a special tourism campaign now that's running I Love New York ads just about Lake Ontario in the region. We have free fishing on Lake Ontario now. So what I'm hearing, we don't have official numbers yet, but what I'm hearing is the tourism has actually been very strong. We also have discounts on state parks like the one we're in today. And I've heard that the businesses are doing very well, and I think our tourism ads and the promotion helps, and just communicating the facts, which is, yes, the lake is somewhat higher, but from a tourism point of view, that doesn't really make a difference, right? There's just more of the lake to love.
Any consideration to extending the suspension of fishing license requirements on Lake Ontario, maybe even into next summer?
Well, let's see how it goes. Hopefully next summer we're back to normal, but let's see how it goes.
Governor Lamont, Connecticut and New York seem to be on the same page when it comes to driver's licenses for undocumented immigrants as well. I know Connecticut just filed an amicus brief in support of New York State in a lawsuit that's right here in Western New York. Why did Connecticut do that? And we can talk at all about the issue on the budget.
I'll talk broadly that New York, Connecticut, our region is a global center, and people from around the world, we welcome them here. We're a much stronger state, and we're a much stronger region when we welcome people, and that's not the message they're always getting out of Washington, D.C. right now. So whether it comes to driver's licenses and tuition and just really treating people with respect, I think that's something where New York and Connecticut are aligned, and I think our region is aligned. So I'm proud to be standing next to Governor Cuomo on the driver's license issue.
Now, we need to do one other thing before the governor leaves. Governor, New Yorkers tend to be a little bit of a skeptical bunch, so we said that we caught fish. But I know New Yorkers, see, and if they don't see the fish, we're going to have this lingering question.
The show me state.
Yeah. Missouri, I think, took it first, but we're going to show them.
Whoa, look at that.
Thank you.
They were twins.
There
These are
they
twin
are.
fish. Look at that. Is yours on a diet? All right, guys.
How beautiful is that?
That's fun.
It's also called dinner.
We're going to eat well.
Yeah.
Vegetarian wife.
Thank
Andrew,
you.
thanks.
Thank
Good
you
to see
very much,
Stay
Governor.
in touch.
Thank you. Thank you.